Angad, first of all, I just wanted to say it's wonderful to be in conversation with you. I think the last time we spoke was for Inside Edge season two, and since then you've had some amazing work come up as well, including obviously that series, and then obviously Gunjan Saxena. How has lockdown been for you? First of all, how have you been coping with the current circumstances that have occurred?
Anuj, things have been tough for everyone. I think, we never expected that we'll be part of such a situation where all of a sudden work will stop. You'll have, such a big disease which will take over the country. Like, it's a bad nightmare. Sometimes you feel like pinching yourself and wondering, is it actually true or not?
Mm.
And but it is what it is, and we are all in it together. There have been millions of people who are suffering from it, and there's so many people worldwide who've lost their loved ones. I think I've been pretty fortunate that my parents are in good shape, and so is my family here in Mumbai. But yeah, it's been a very life-changing experience. It makes you value things which you were taught as a child by your grandparents and your parents. And I think everything with what they said, value your family, make time for them. This has been a great lesson learned, because we are all chasing our dreams, and selfishly so. And somewhere along the line, we've forgotten who we are and where we come from. And I think we have a certain moral and social responsibility towards our families, towards our loved ones, which we should fulfill. They've sacrificed so much for us. I think it's about time we did something for them and gave it back to them and looked after them. And I feel that that's a learning experience for me. And that's what I'll try and teach my daughter also, because to so many people have been laid off jobs, so many people are struggling to make a living, to make ends meet. People are not getting beds in hospitals uh, because of this COVID-19. I can well imagine there are certain hospitals which are supposed to be, healthcare, or for, for heart or for other diseases, but then all beds are taken up by COVID. So it's just, I shudder to think that tomorrow if somebody does have a heart attack or does have some other disease which is really, you know, uh, potent, how are we going to deal with that? Because there are hardly any beds around India for sure. So, I feel that it's tough out there. I think it's time for us to, really thank the Almighty and have a lot of gratitude towards life, that whatever life has given us, we should be, you know, uh, very, very accepting of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think what you said is very important. And I'm sure, I think it's been a great lesson, I think, to everyone across the world, not just in India as well. I think everyone who's been going through this pandemic, I'm sure we've learned quite a few things and valued things that we perhaps took for granted before this happened. But I think Gunjan Saxena, congratulations on that film. It's been receiving a lot of good reviews, and I think a lot of people have appreciated the film as well. So how do you feel about the way the film has been received and your role, the significance of that role in the film? How do you feel about that?
I think it's a beautiful film. It's been made. The film has its heart in the right place, and what is important is that it's a story which was, I think it was about time that it was told, and um, it's about this one girl, Gunjan Saxena, and her, dreams of flying, and how she finally achieves that. And I think on along the journey, there's a beautiful relationship which is shared by her father. There's a great bond which is, shared with her brother. And I play a Major Anshuman Saxena, who is basically, he's the mirror to the society. He reflects on a lot of things. He's actually extremely conflicted as an individual, because he loves his sister and he wants her to excel, but then he also knows that it's, what are the hardships she's going to face. And being a man, he's faced those. Imagine how's it going to be for a girl.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a very it's a part which is conflicted. It's a part which is extremely, for me, challenging to play, because usually when we see cinematically, these kind of roles are not really written. There's always either, there's sacrifice or there is glory. But here, Anshuman is fighting not just with the fact, with his, in a cell, but he's also trying to come to terms with the fact that sometimes he doesn't know whether he's talking to his own sister, Gunju, or he's talking to an officer, Gunjan Saxena. So he has to give respect because he's also in the army, and he has to give respect to another officer. He values that, but then it's a very thin line because um, he he's willing to put his life on the line for the country, and he knows all officers do that. But here he's talking to an officer who's an Air Force officer who also happens to be his own blood. So he's out of fear. He says what he says because he really wants her welfare and he doesn't wish that she should get harmed. But then he has to realize that for her to find her wings, he has to let her fly. And yes, you want to work out of caution, but then you have to take that risk if you really want to achieve the impossible. And I think that's the story, that's the journey. It's a beautiful film which is written really well and executed very well by Sharan Sharma, who's the debutant director, who's been getting a lot of you know uh, applause for what he's done, how he's taken the film forward. Janvi herself, she's done a very good job, and so has the rest of the cast. Like Pankaj, he's like
Oh
I
yeah.
think everybody wants a father like him.
Yeah.
He's been of the past 4 or 5 years, he's really shined in his body of work. There's Vineet Kumar, there is Manav Vij, there's Aisha Raza. So, I think the cast is done very well. I think everybody's got their due. I really, I'm grateful to Dharma Productions and my producers Karan Johar and Apurva Mehta for choosing me, because it's a very, it's an actor's part that they've given me. It's doesn't, you got to portray each and every single emotion in the most realistic manner. It's a very held back performance. So it was very challenging, firstly, for me to get into the skin of it, and then go through the beats, because it's the handling of the character, or all the characters, and also the emotional graph of the film. It's very westernized. It's nothing like these are the kind of films that you see in the West.
Right. Yeah. I think also it's quite interesting to see you play these sort of characters which in a way like for example when like you played in Surma, you played like a very supportive, very uplifting sort of brother figure. I guess in Gunjan Saxena it was kind of different though, because you were almost skeptical and low-key jealous as well. Like I think the character did sort of have that edge to him where he was like, oh, but why is like it did seem a bit low-key misogynistic actually in some places as well. Would you agree with that?
No, it's not misogynistic. See, you have to understand that he's just portraying the emotion that existed in the 90s in India, especially in a small town when you come from Lucknow. And places in India where it's 2-tier, 3-tier cities, there is a certain misogynistic way of thinking. There is a certain way of कि लड़कियां रात को घर के बाहर नहीं जाती and all that. That system is there. And I feel that he's talking completely out of caution. He's talking out of love. He's talking out of an insecurity that dwells where he just his in his headspace there's just this one question: what if it goes wrong? How are we going to deal with it? Our father is showing her a very beautiful rosy picture, but how is she going to become an officer? Like, just by, if she sulks, you give her cassata ice cream, or you tell her that you can go on a Rekha diet, doesn't mean that you're going to become an Air Force officer.
Right.
That, like,
Mhm.
you got to put in the hardships, you got to put in the hours, you got to know how things are going to pan out for you. So he says he's not understanding the fact that why is the father being so overzealous about the entire thing, because he should show her the true show her the true picture, but he's not doing that. He's saying, go out and I'll support you, yes, but you know when she goes out and she realizes it's not going to be easy, and then her thought process, she thinks about what all Anshuman has told her is actually happening.
Mm.
And it's he's just trying to make, he is Anshuman technically, by telling her all these things, is worst, and that is what is important. And that is what Anshuman is trying to do. He's trying to be that protective brother who wants his sister to excel, but he also wants her to be ready. His question is, are you mentally ready? Are you emotionally ready to take up this challenge? Because it's a bad word out there, and they will, be in a position where if they have to put somebody down, they will put her down. He just
Right.
wants her to be prepared. And that's
Yeah.
when you see a beautiful turnaround of his character, when he says to her that मैं तुम्हें हर बार बचाने नहीं आ पाऊंगा. And then when he sees her come of age, and then he salutes her and he says, मैंने कहा था ना मैं तुम्हें हर बार बचाने नहीं आ पाऊंगा, लेकिन मुझे इतना विश्वास जरूर है कि अगर मुझे कभी जरूरत पड़ी तो तुम मुझे बचाने जरूर आओगी. And then he salutes and says, Jai Hind, Officer Saxena. And I feel that, she's proved herself so well. And this is what he also wanted. He wanted it. It's like, sometimes you use reverse psychology, especially in sport, especially in like when you're a soldier on the battlefield. There's a lot of reverse psychology which is used. So either you come out with flying colors or you get defeated. And he doesn't want his sister to be defeated because he knows she's going to break. He wants her to excel. So he has to put her through the toughest emotion.
Yeah, I think we definitely got that vibe in the end when he did that salute, and I think yes, that whole aspect of what you described in the response. It did come across towards the end when he did finally say that "Ha, मैं हर बार बचाने नहीं आऊंगा," and she obviously proved her merit as well in that sequence as well. But I find it really fascinating, Angad. You've had quite an interesting filmography. I mean, you've not really stuck to one particular genre. I mean, you've done a comedy or dance, sort of like coming of age film like Falgu. You've done, a societal film like Pink, and then obviously like a sports movie like Surma. Has versatile always been the key for you as an actor?
So my biggest challenge to myself was that try and stay away from the box, because what happens is when you start out in cinema and you do certain kind of roles, then they tend to box you in that kind of roles, whether it is it's a very challenge. It's been extremely challenging for me to keep on one being reinventing myself through every role, because I think that is very important. Otherwise people are just going to see one aspect of my personality, which I don't wish to portray. I don't wish to repeat it in every single time in every single film project that I do. Yes, that's been that's been the way I look at things, because I feel that everybody has many different facets to their personalities, and I feel that I want to showcase every single thing which is me and which is also not me, and that's been my driving force. And considering whether it was Pink as Rajveer Singh, who was misogynistic, that character was misogynistic.
Yeah.
Whether it was completely flipping to Arvind Vashisht, who's the most upright, honest man in Inside Edge. He literally has the whole, mindset of Ram. He thinks like that, he behaves like that. He believes in doing things the right way, and he wants to eradicate all the wrong things. So, it's just like, for me, it's always been that challenge, how to keep, convincing the audience that is going to watch me that, I'm not Angad, but I'm that character. And I feel that for me, that is what is very, very important. And moving on to Surma, one of my most favorite films is Surma, because again, it's set in a very real space. It's one brother's sacrifice which leads to the other brother's glory. He puts his brother back on from the wheelchair on the hockey field, and he takes it up as a challenge. So I feel that these are the roles which connect with people. I feel 99% of the population in the world are not achievers. They try, but then they also fail. And I'm that 99%. It's that 1% which is an achiever or an overachiever who are really successful, and I'm not that. So I rather be with the 99% and make them believe that I am them and they are me, so that they connect with my characters, because it's always not about getting the gold or winning the lottery or being the man who will save the world. It's about somebody who is a common man who also gets defeated, who also has aspirations, who also is trying, but is also failing, and also trying to succeed, is also on that journey to find himself and discover himself. And I feel that all my characters that way have that one common link, is that they need to discover, they need to find themselves. Anshuman Saxena is finding himself. He finds himself by the end of the film, you know. So I feel that that is what is important.
For talking about that sports aspect as well. So when you do films like The Zoya Factor, or even a series like Inside Edge, which is obviously about cricket, and obviously I'm sure you've grown up, seeing your dad as well play cricket, and perhaps you've obviously, had experience yourself as well playing it. How much of a personal connect do such roles have with you, and how does that help you as an actor bring out more authentic emotions?
See, as a sports person, in my head, I am always going to be a sports person, because I played sport for almost 12 years of my life, and it's taught me a lot. It's taught me hard work. It's taught me how to get up when you're down. It's taught me not to be defeated. It's taught me to take rejection in my stride. It's taught me many things. It's just made me very strong-willed, and I get over failure very fast, because I know tomorrow's going to be another day. I got to get up and prove myself again, and I look forward to it. I like a challenge. I like competition. I like, it should be like, I like a game of, I always equate it to a batsman and a bowler, because that's the battle of wits you always entangled with. You as a batsman, you might be in a great form, but all you need is that one good ball and it finds the nick, it finds the edge, and the fielder catches it and you're out, so
Right.
you're done. So there are no retakes in sport. And I feel that's what has taught me how to, maybe face life. And I think me playing sport, or for the fact that even when I switched and I wanted to make a career in films, I was rejected in so many auditions. I think I've given more than around 250, 300 odd tests. And, whatever work has come my way, and I'm very glad and fortunate. But it's honestly the rejections and the, I think me not getting the parts of certain films which I tested for has made my will a lot stronger and made me a better actor also. Because, if things came to you easy, then you don't really value them.
Mm,
I've had to work hard for wherever I am today. And I've had to work really hard to, convince producers and filmmakers to take me. And today, if they find me bankable and they want to work with me, I really value that too, because I know how I have toiled, and it's not easy, because eventually, not just in our field, any field works on trust and faith. And
mm,
you could be very talented, but if you're not going to show up on time, or you're not going to win the trust of the people who you work with, they're not going to work with you. So I
mm,
feel what it boils down to is what kind of an individual you are, and are you trustworthy? And I think that both these things taught me, hard work. It taught me to be faithful. So I feel that sport has helped me, shape my career up here in Mumbai in a very big way, and I'm very, very grateful. Because had it not been sport, then maybe I would not been able to, either last or maybe have this kind of a trajectory which I do.
Because I've seen a lot of actors who play sports. Like I've seen Ranbir Kapoor play football. I believe there's also like a special like cricket team as well, where all the celebrities participate, all the actors participate. So would you say that transition journey is different from a sports person being an actor, or vice versa?
So I played age group cricket, and I feel that had I, for me, it was much easier to make the transition, because I never played for India. I've never represented the country on the highest level to make, you make a, how do I explain it? When you, uh, to make an image of a cricketer. I just played at various age group levels, and I represented Delhi as a state. But
Mm-hmm.
I never made it, as in, like, cricket never became my imagery. So it was much easier for me, that transition, to be an actor. But
Mm,
then, yeah, it is tough for, if, when a lot of cricketers or any other sports person who has an image of sport, like if they've represented country and all of a sudden they want to make that switch, it's extremely tough. Listen, Michael Jordan couldn't do it in baseball, right? He tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Michael Jordan, I don't think there's a bigger sportsman alive than Michael Jordan. So I feel that, it's tough. It's not necessary that if you excel in, say, sport, that you're going to excel in cinema or vice versa. But I think, like in our industry, a lot of people there are certain teams made and a lot of people play cricket and football, but that's for fun. It's not like played at a very higher competitive level. So it's played at a very, club level maybe, and you play amongst your own colleagues, and it just generates some kind of hype. But I think that when you want to really play at the highest level, or for me, if I have to stand in front of Mr. Bachchan in pink, then you have to be really, really well prepared, right? So I think I'm glad that I chose the field of I chose cinema as a profession, as an actor, as a profession, because I think I have more longevity here. Also, age doesn't play a very big role, because as you live life, you learn more. You become a better actor by the kind of work you do. But age is not a criteria here. Sport, your life, your career graph is very short, because age plays a very big factor in determining how long you last.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I think that's so true. So what is your view on the depictions of sports in Bollywood in particular? Because I feel a lot of the sports films, they're like a lot of drama is built up. Like for example, when it's like the final like batting time or the final sort of moment of a sports match, there's often that drama that comes into play. Suddenly flashbacks happen, and the main character sort of remembers their life story and why they're there. So all these sort of drama just sorts of kicks in when during the final stages of a match within a Bollywood film. So what is your view on this, and how do you think this can change to perhaps a more realistic and perhaps gritty sort of depiction of sports in Hindi cinema?
See, I feel when you make sports films, or you make subject which has got a sporting angle in it, drama plays a very important role, because let's face it, we all as human beings are emotional. Everybody likes a bit of drama in their lives, and I feel that it connects people to people, and I think that it gives you hope. It gives you, everybody, whoever, whether it's in our country or worldwide, whoever has jobs and is going to work and is struggling, and once on the weekend wants to lay off and watch a film, they want to forget all their troubles, and they want to be like, it's like when I watch cinema and when I watch a superhero film, for me, my superhero character is Batman. And when I used to be a youngster, like as a child, I used to watch cinema. I used to watch Batman so many times, and I was like, one day I want to be Batman. One day I want to save the world.
Yeah.
So I feel that I used to also think that there's going to be a Gotham City where I'm going to reside and I'm going to save it as Batman. But it's just, you got to connect with that, and that happens only through drama. And I feel drama is, if there is sporting action, drama is equally important. Like even in Hollywood films, it's like that. You pick up any film, whether it is I've seen so many sporting biopics and films. Like recently I was watching Invictus. It's an old film which I saw. There's drama in that too. There's Dangal, which is my all-time favorite in India. Amir Sir's film. It's beautiful. And then, I grew up watching Rocky. Sylvester Stallone used to be my hero, and the Rocky series. And, then you watch films like, I saw Coach Carter. And I think that there's so many films that to build the climax, you need that drama along.
Yeah. What I really find fascinating about you and Neha as well is the fact that you both kind of like, it hasn't come to you easy. Like the sort of stage where you both are at in your careers has come with a lot of difficulty. And I know it sounds like a very cliche thing to say, but I think in your both cases it's true. Like, you've not had that, because I think a lot of like a lot of your performances have been kind of like you've had to really work hard to get to this stage, because otherwise you've had actors who kind of had, I don't want to say they've had a leeway into it, but there was that sort of sense of slight ease of them, being uplifted and stuff like that. How, looking back at your breakthrough journey, I mean, what has been the greatest teachings for you? I mean, I guess I can't really ask you to talk for Neha because she's not here, but for you, what has been the greatest learning for you from your breakthrough journey? And how do you think other actors who are not linked to the industry can sort of learn from that?
So I feel that you got to have a lot of self-belief, and I and that came to me through Mr. Bachchan, through Shujit Sarkar. Shujit, I consider my teacher, and he taught me a lot of things when we were shooting Pink. He held my hand during the courtroom scenes with Mr. Bachchan. He made me realize. He said, "Angad, this is for you, the biggest test match you'll ever play in your life. In front of you is Amitabh Bachchan. How are you going to deal with him? Are you prepared to face him?" you know and he said, just when it comes on the battlefield or on the cricket field, what is it? You're all equal, right?
Mm,
I said, yeah. He said, then treat him as your equal, and you're supposed to be a 22-year-old boy. He needs to take you down, as Rajveer Singh, but you are not going to buckle down. So now you're on your own. And he
mm,
said, just don't worry about anything. I got your back. So you got to, like, sometimes you just need to be thrown in that deep end by somebody. And I think I was that one person who Shujita did put his faith in, and I
mm,
think that changed everything in me, because when I was facing my own childhood hero, and he still is my hero, and I love him to bits. It just gave me so much of confidence. I said, if I can stand in front of Mr. Bachchan, I can stand in front of anyone. I have no problems, and I
yeah.
will hold my own, because
Mm,
it's all about practice, and it's all about somebody believing in you and giving you that confidence. And I've been very lucky and fortunate where I've had good filmmakers, like whether Shujit Sarkar, or it got followed up by Karan Anshuman, who put so much of faith in me with Arvind Vashisht
mm,
uh, as the character. Then I was taken under the wings by Yash Raj and Ali Abbas Zafar for Tiger Zinda Hai,
mm,
and Salman sir put in a lot of faith in me. So I've been very fortunate, because I if somebody wants to enter this industry, they need to believe in hard work. They need to understand why they're here. Are they here to be an actor, or they want to be a star, or they like the perks of the job, which is like endorsements and fan following and bigger producers? Then they're going wrong. You got to work on your skill. You got to be a better actor. You got to be an actor first. I wanted to be an actor, and I feel that is the only advice I can give somebody, is that work on your skill, be earnest, and be honest. The rest you don't need to worry about. Rest everybody will see. And if you're good, and if you are you've given your 200% and you are respectful, then you will go ahead. Nobody can stop you. You can't keep a good man down for long. So I feel that
yeah.
that's the only thing. You got to self-belief is the most important thing, and you got to believe in yourself. And today things are so streamlined. There are casting directors. You just show up at the offices. You can drop your pictures. You can tell them to call you to test you. Nowadays, apart from just that, there are so many various forms of social media where you can put up your body of work through YouTube, through Instagram, through Facebook, through so many other websites, and
Mm,
people are going to see you. Today there are social media digital stars also who have some really good following because the kind of content they put out. So you
mm.
just got to be yourself. You got to connect with the audience, connect with the people. Just be honest. Just keep on working.
Mm, mm. And I'm glad you sort of touched upon that whole fame aspect as well, because I feel like whenever a celebrity or an actor becomes a mother or a father, I feel like there's this real obsession by the audience, by the paparazzi, of like seeing pictures of like these kids and stuff like that. I mean, like with Temur, for example, it's always constant, in the tabloids, you see it all the time, and it's always splashed across media. I mean, what is your stance on that, and how do you think what do you think needs to change in that sort of culture that's out there? Because obviously you're a dad as well, right? So how worried are you actually about being papped or your daughter
See,
being papped?
I'm not worried. We just try and protect her as much as we can from the media glare. Every parent has their own perspective, and I feel that Saif and Kareena are such big stars that whether they like it or not, the limelight is always on them, and the spotlight is on them, and then unfortunately or fortunately, it goes towards their children. And I'm sure that beyond a point, um, they've dealt with it in the best way possible. And I feel that even as far as we are concerned, we are trying to shield Meher as much as she can, because let's face it, it's the media and the and the actors. Then it's a very it's a relationship where you both need each other. you
Yeah.
know uh, you need your body work to reach people. How does that reach people? Is through the media. And media also needs to function by projecting people how they are. And it's a big, I think it's a very hand in glove kind of a relationship. And I feel that both need to respect each other's space. And professionally, yes, they need to do their jobs, but I think personally it becomes very different. So there has to be a cutoff point, which we try and do as much as possible,
Mm.
because we want our child to have a very normal childhood. Unfortunately, when you're a person who's in a celebrated profession, if you like the success of the profession, and if you like the fanfare, and if you like the media attention when your film gets released and people talk about it, well, then you have to also be okay with the fact that when they will criticize you for your body of work, then you have to take criticism in your stride. You have to take the fact that your family life or or your personal life sometimes can get public, and
Mm.
that's how it's going to be. you
Right.
know so I feel it's a situation where you can't just say that, oh, only my work is going to do the talking, which it should. But then sometimes when your personal life does come in the media glare, then you have to have a very I feel, with a balanced mind, you got to deal with that.
Hmm. Oh, very well said. And I think the fact that these paps exist and the fact that these photos come out is because there is a bit of a demand for it, right? And I think it's a very supply and demand type of an industry. And I feel like whenever there's a demand for it, I feel like the machinery has to supply it. And I think perhaps the change needs to come perhaps within the consumers themselves. Do you think as well? Maybe.
See, I feel that everybody, like how the paparazzi culture, it's come from the West. And they're doing their job because they're also on their feet, trying to move around in their various. In India, they don't have these luxury cars or these, they roam around on bicycles, they roam around on their two-wheelers. And it's tough on them to, brave the heat sometimes and brave the rain. They also try to take an image and make a living out of it, right? So I
Yeah.
feel that, you can't be against them, because they're also trying to do a job and come up the hard way. So I think that's where mutual respect for each other's profession is very important.
Hmm.
And like we, a lot of times we request them to not put Meher's picture, even if it is taken when, and we are not aware of it, because every time you can't have your eyes all over the place like a hawk. So
Yeah.
we request them, and they're kind enough to take it down. So I think we are okay with that till now.
Hmm.
I think we'll have to see how it goes in the near future.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as a father as well, I think I spoke with Ritesh, I think last year for Mojava, and I spoke with him about how fatherhood has impacted him as an actor and how it's changed him. I mean, how has fatherhood changed you, not only as a person but as an actor in particular? What sort of nuances have come in from fatherhood that sort of translates into your professional life as well?
See, I think it takes away a lot of insecurities. It calms you down. Also, when you settle it as an individual, especially for a man, it helps him focus more on their profession better. I feel that um, there's you become more peaceful. There's a certain therav in your performance, which is very important, and it takes away all the angst of many things, and it places you in a position where you think about your family, you become from selfish. There's nothing wrong in being selfish, but then you start thinking about your family, you start thinking about your children, you start thinking about your parents, and it just opens up a beautiful perspective. And I think you become more accepting of life, and in in whichever shape or form it is. And I feel that when you go on set also, you see everybody as your own, and you understand everybody's struggle a lot more.
Yeah.
So I feel that it definitely changes you and makes you a better person. And if you become a better human being, you will become a better actor. So I feel that that's the transition that happens. It's like whenever I see, even with sports people, the minute they settle down or they have a family, their game changes for the better.
Yeah.
you know so I feel that it's a beautiful circle of life which you have to accept. And when life comes a full circle, then uh, all your struggles, all your waiting, all your rejections and your failures, they all come together beautifully, and make it, turn it all around into a beautiful, successful picture. And that is what everybody needs. Like, come on, you're not going to see success if you've not seen failure. Like, I feel it
Yeah.
is not the success that makes an individual. It is the individual's failure that makes a person success. So I
Hmm.
feel that if you will not have failure, you will not know what success is.
Must also add, Angad, I feel sometimes, failure, it's a very vague term. Failure is so subjective and it can mean so many different things. And I think what's happened is that, especially in the film industry, because of the way it is, I think, failure itself becomes such a difficult term to bracket as well. But what does failure mean to you, and how have you risen above that in your life?
So when I first came to Mumbai, my father taught me one thing: accept failure in your stride, accept rejection, accept the fact that they might not take you, and they won't, because you got to prove yourself again and again and again. And for me, I think I was very lucky that I had my father guide me. You know, it would have been very different had my father not played sport. It would have been very different had I, come from a different background, whether it's business or somewhere else, because then I would have not understood what it is to, how do you build self belief, or how do you see through rejection or failure. And I feel that I've been lucky enough to have a very good, strong support system with me, whether it's through my parents or through my wife, or through my entire family or my friends even. And I feel that, I've seen failures in friends, and, I've had, like, my friendships with, I have been with people through cricket, and, UV and I have been childhood friends. I've seen how tough it's been on him,
Hmm.
to keep on, you know, proving himself every game, after game, and every time you're not going to be in the best form of your life. So, you know, media will pull you down if they, if you're not doing well. It's a norm, and how you have to keep a balanced head. And I've seen all of that through various other colleagues also. I've seen them, whether it's Zahir Khan or Harbhajan Singh or Ashish Nehra. These are the people who have been my much senior as colleagues and as friends, and I've seen them, come and go, retire, lead a normal life, and it's not been easy, you know,
Hmm.
because it's a very different emotion. I feel when somebody needs to, face, whether it's retirement or understand that their time is up. How does one know their time is up? And I
Hmm.
feel that I've lived that life, and I've with my friends or my father, to understand that cinema is just a part of my life. Cinema is not my whole life,
Hmm.
So I will give my 100, 200% here, yes, but I also need to then leave it and not chase it beyond a point, because it could destroy me. So, that's where family comes into play, and which is very, very important. And I feel that a lot of people don't have that support system.
Hmm.
You got to be driven, yes, you got to be, on your toes, yes, but you also need to say, I've done my best, now it's up to the universe to conspire, and let's see where we go from here. But sometimes people get so driven that it can go against them, and they
Hmm.
don't have that kind of point.
Wow.
So I have been very fortunate that I have had a family, I've had a father who's guided me through all these things. Otherwise, it can get very, very tough, because a lot of people, a lot of youngsters, they don't know how to deal with failure, because we were not taught in school how to deal with failure.
No.
So
No.
how do you deal with it? If you're not taught, if you're not like, I feel that today it's considered whether you want to, that you need somebody to talk to, you need somebody, that either your friends or people who you can relate to and confide in, because eventually everybody needs someone. It's failure is something which is needs a lot more nurturing than
Yes.
success.
Normalizing failure. I think that's something that we need to do as a society and humans as well, for sure.
I feel that people even in school, when children go to school, they're taught how to be successful.
Yeah.
No, I think that's the wrong teaching. They should be taught how to deal with failure first, because nobody teaches you that. They said get 100 out of 100, get
Hmm.
99.9 only, then you'll be get admission in a good university. Why can't you get 40% marks and be talented in sport or in art or in dance or have another skill which takes you to the best university?
Hmm.
Why does it have to be success in, or passing with flying colors? Like, who has made this, set this benchmark? I need to understand that first. And these are the same people, right? These are the same people who want 99 or 100 out of 100 on the mark sheet, but don't want to teach their students. What if they don't get it?
Hmm.
What if they don't get 100 out of 100? So the person who's got 98 or 96 has missed the mark. So that person is going to think of himself or herself as a failure.
That's failure. Hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
you know so you got to teach in schools, especially first thing, that it is okay to fail, it is okay to try, it is okay to not succeed, it is okay to get 4 on 10, it is okay to get 30 out of 100. Why should you always aim at 90 or 99 or 100 out of 100?
Hmm.
If you want to aim at that, you work towards that. But you should also make people understand, sometimes kids are not academically inclined. The same person who's academically inclined and scoring 100 out of 100 might be you not be inclined towards music or art or sport. But the other person who is inclined towards music, art, and sport might be literally like a genius in that field. So you got to like accept everything, and I feel you got to be more sensitive towards this department.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. And I think all I can say was from hearing that response, I can just say Meher is very blessed to have a father and mother like Neha, like yourself. So I'm just really glad to hear that. And I think I can't wait to sort of see what happens in the future with Meher also. I think Meher could
Yeah,
also have an amazing future.
she'll find a way, whatever she wants to do. And I feel as parents, she'll always have a blessing, and it's her life. Like, life has, you need to let life happen to you. You got to enjoy, you got to live your life, you got to smile, you got to laugh, you got to get wet in the rain. We've forgotten how to do all those things, and I feel that is what makes your childhood, that's what makes your memories.
Hmm. Right.
It's not about every Friday, it's not about every success, it's not about every box office figure. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay to get wet in the rain. Sometimes it's okay to slip. It's
Hmm.
okay to have a laugh at yourself.
Oh, that's really sweet. Yeah, that's really, really sweet. I love that. But I think on a final note, Angad, before I let you go, Inside Ed season two left us on such an intense stage. So what's gonna happen to Arvind Bashish? Because we saw that he took the right steps in the second series. He was his righteous self. He was the hero of the series. But what's gonna happen to him in the third season? I mean, will we be seeing more of you in Inside Ed season three?
Well, let's see. It's totally up to the makers and the writers, and I think Karan Anshuman, the creator, because he's created Arvind Vashish. Now there's a big moral responsibility on his shoulders how he wants to take it forward, because Arvind Vashish has struck a chord with the audience. People have really connected with that character. Now it's going to, I think, for Arvind to come back, he needs another challenge. Now let's see what's that going to be. And I feel that it's not just about, I think Inside Edge has become a very big property, and I feel that not just season 3 is could go into the 4th and the 5th season, hopefully. And I feel that I would love to see something like that, because when you get so much of love towards a certain character or towards a certain series, then there's also a moral responsibility towards the people as an actor who is watching and liking Inside Edge. Like they like till now, they like, people are waiting to see what's going to happen with Arvind Vashisht. I am waiting to see what happens with Arvind Vashisht. So I think that it's a big question which only Karan Anshuman right now can answer, who's created Arvind Vashisht himself. So let's see. I think there's still time for the 3rd season to come out. Right now, I think with the looks of it, Mirzapur season 2 is going to be out soon.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
really looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. I think I can't wait for that as well. But besides Inside Edge, is there any other projects that we can look forward to from you as well?
Yes, I'm playing an encounter specialist. I'm doing an action project where I play an encounter specialist. He's a cop.
Okay.
And it's the life and times of a character called, so he's a Konkanese cop. Konkanese cop who grows up in Maharashtra, in Mumbai.
Ooh.
And it's a beautiful story between how it's the rise and the fall of this cop. And it's something I'm really looking forward to. I've got another 10 to 12 days of shoot left. My shoot has begun again. And Ekta Kapoor is producing it. It's called Mumbai, Mumbhai.
Nice.
Yeah, Apurva Lakhia has written it. It's Apurva Lakhia is the guy who made Shootout at Wadala, and he made Ek Ajnabi. He's made some really good cop drama and gangster stuff. So Ekta and Apurva have collaborated again. And we've shot most of it. 70% is done, 30% is left. It's got an interesting mix with me. Like there's Sikandar Khair, there's Sandeep Adhar. So it's how this cop takes down the gangsters of Mumbai.
Ooh, nice.
And it's pretty cool. It's commercial, it's masala, it's action oriented. So we're in the process of doing that.
And it's great because I guess it will show you in a very different light to what we've seen you do before. I mean, you played like an army personnel, like Tigers in there, but I guess playing a full-fledged cop where I guess all the eyes are pretty much fixed on you as well. I think that is also a very like different sort of side to you as an actor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this character because it's something I've never approached.
Yeah.
And I've never done something like this, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to it too, and I think all the viewers of Filme Shilmy will be looking very much forward to that. But Angad, I think every time I've had a conversation with you, it's always just so wonderful to hear your views on life, on sports, on life as a celebrity parent, on as an actor, and I think all these aspects, it's just wonderful to sort of know your experiences, and I think a lot of the viewers can value a lot as well from hearing you. So thank you so much for joining me on Filme Shilmy for today's conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been fun. Take care.
Take care. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.